Yo, what's up everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about why Fire Emblem Three Houses is not only going to be a must play, one of the best games of the year, but also a must play for newbies to the Fire Emblem franchise. One of the questions that I get the most is, yo OJ, which Fire Emblem game should I start on in preparation of Fire Emblem Three Houses? And I'm like, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't play any of them. Just go into Fire Emblem Three Houses as your first one, and then maybe you can go back to the other ones if you like this franchise. But I feel that Fire Emblem Three Houses is definitely going to be a must play and one of the best games of the year. I'm going to break down each element of the game and why I think it's going to be so good. So let's go ahead and first start off with the story. I love the overarching powerful church type of story that they've built into this one here, with that unique or that interesting girl. You don't know what she plays in terms of her complete role in this one. I love when they have stuff like that in the game. I think that it's going to present a lot of intrigue and also replay value with all of the three paths that you can take built into one game. Can I get a somewhat of a hallelujah for them not splitting the game into three parts, which many people thought that they could do when they heard Fire Emblem Three Houses, although Nintendo probably would have announced that like at E3 or whenever they first showed off the game, or it would have been in the description that there is going to be multiple different games. So I think that the fact that we are getting all of those paths in there with the story, and you know there's going to be different elements of the story or different elements that you can absorb when you pick a different path, to me that's going to create a very intriguing and fun story to go through and see what happens. Another thing that I really like about the story, maybe some people don't like this, but I like it, is the fact that you have like a school and you can go there and train, and the type of bonds that you can build with your teammates. To me, it feels a little bit more of a area that we haven't seen. It's something different from Fire Emblem. Usually we see, oh, you're a mercenary gang, or you're part of the like knights, or you're part of something with the military. This one's a little bit different, where there's a military, but it's also a school in training as well, and you learn from there and you can explore and do different things and unlock parts of the story through that setting. To me, that's just something that seems really cool. I'm excited to explore it more in Fire Emblem Three Houses. Now let's break down the look of it, the graphics, the feel, the art. This is by far the best looking Fire Emblem game that we have ever seen. It's the best looking Fire Emblem game ever. Usually we've been getting Fire Emblem games on portable systems for the past however many years, right? And even if you go back to when we got it on a console, which the last time was on the Wii, the last time that we got a Fire Emblem game on a console, it still doesn't look anywhere near as good as this. And even if you looked at the game when they first showed it off back at E3 2018, I think it was E3 2018 when they first showed it off, compared to at this point, they've improved the graphics quite a bit, and I feel that they're going to continue to improve the graphics and the look of the game. I love the art style. It reminds me for some reason of Fire Emblem like Path of Radiance. It reminds me of the two titles that we got on the GameCube and also on the Wii as well with Ike, and they really just taken that type of art style and kind of ran with it. But of course that art style is similar to what we've seen from Fire Emblem games, Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Fates. Echoes is a little bit different, but also the same in some regards in terms of the drawing and everything. But to me, this is the perfect type of art style and graphical effects that they've put in there, the overhead map and kind of what they're doing when you zoom in and go into the battlefield. It's actually really cool, and like I said, I think they're going to brush it up even more as the game gets closer to its July release. Now, another thing that I really like about this game, especially the look of it, is the free roaming parts. This is something that I enjoyed greatly in Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. There are these parts to where you can go through in a dungeon and explore free roaming, and I'm so glad that they're able to take that element and bring it into Fire Emblem Three Houses. That is really cool, that you have this huge castle and areas that you can explore and freely roam around and talk to people, gather information. It just looks great. I really love the look of it, and you can tell that they spent a lot of time and care in those parts of there and the surroundings, and getting the feel and the look of how it would be in the Fire Emblem universe, because you can't really do that in Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. There are towns and you can move from one point to another, but it is a static image pretty much with the person talking like right there. So it's nowhere near as nice as what they've got in Fire Emblem Three Houses. This is pretty much a first for the franchise, being able to do it in this 3D and the way that they're doing it here. But it actually has me quite excited for everything just because of those free roaming parts and how good it does look with the environments and the theme of the game. Now let's go ahead and get into the last thing, and this is definitely the most important, and that is gameplay. So the gameplay not only looks traditional and amazing, but it also looks innovative for the series. And what I mean by that is adding in the troops, because anytime that you have a unit or a leader on there, they'll have troops that support them. When you zoom into the battle, you can see them all attacking. That is going to be part of the gameplay. To me, that makes it feel like more of a large-scale battle than, let's just say, 14 people fighting out in a desert or fighting out in like a wooded area and all that. You're still going to have the terrain and other things that you can use to your advantage or disadvantage in some certain instances, but I think it's also going to affect a little bit more because you have all of the troops there too. So the battles are just going to feel more large scale. They're going to actually be more large scale, and it's going to be fun to be able to see if you can link up with other troops, potentially do different types of moves if you're adjacent to one troop with all the different stuff that they have. It's not just a single person and another single person linking up and then doing a double attack. You actually have multiple different people there. So that's really cool, and I do love that innovation within the gameplay. I also like, this kind of ties into the open-ended segments of the game with the moving around in the castle or the school, is that you can actually train there. You can train up your units, you can learn different skills and abilities, you'll be able to teach different things. So that is also another aspect of the gameplay that I'm like, wow, they're really innovating and improving upon that. We saw some of those skills come out in the trailer, which there's been skills before where there's like a flashy screen and they kind of say something, then they do the skill, whether it's like a critical hit or they add damage or whatever the case is. And I love that in Fire Emblem Awakening. That was one of my favorite things, to where you can learn different skills and then you can kind of customize what you want to do and how your person's loadout is. That was one of the best things about the combat that they've added into the Fire Emblem franchise. So to see it perfected in such a way in Fire Emblem Awakening, Fire Emblem Fates, and to have that probably come back here based on what we saw with the trailer is just absolutely fantastic. And I'm thinking that you're going to be able to learn a lot of that stuff or train for it when you're in the academy there, when you're in the school and learning different things. So that's also another aspect of gameplay that seems very, very fun to do. I think like changing classes and all that stuff is going to be available in certain parts based on what you've unlocked. Maybe you have some things with your castle. You guys remember that with Fire Emblem Fates? Maybe there's literally your castle and different things that you can expand based on what you do in the missions and stuff like that. So there's so much stuff to kind of go over and what this game can be, and the gameplay just looks solid. So many different ways that you can exploit and what you can do with the combat, and I'm waiting to know more. So Fire Emblem Three Houses does officially launch on July 26th here in North America and in Europe and in Japan. It is a worldwide release, and because of all these different elements, because of the fact that it's a brand new story with brand new characters and all these different things added in, and it's probably going to be one of the most new or user-friendly type of Fire Emblem games, because they know we're jumping from the Wii U, which didn't have any Fire Emblem at all, to the 3DS, which is a completely different style of system with the Switch. I know that they're probably going to put in a lot of tutorials and things for newcomers out there, so this will probably be a great place to start up. This will probably be the best one, especially if you're looking to get into the Fire Emblem franchise. You're going to have that amazing presentation that we've never gotten before. You're going to have all of the content packed into there. We still need to wait and see for DLC. Knowing Intelligent Systems, they have crazy DLC, and they've done some crazy stuff with their DLC. So knowing them, there might be some stuff there, but I think that the base game, like always with Fire Emblem Fates, with Fire Emblem Awakening, and all the Fire Emblem games that they've done, even Shadows of Valentia, which had a ridiculous season pass for it with DLC content that cost more than the game itself, I still think that we're going to get enough base content in it that everything's going to be fine with that. So I'm really looking forward to what we end up getting in terms of the full package with the game, because I think it's going to be quite solid. And of course, DLC is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, you can do good DLC. So if they have some nice expansions for us, maybe even something like Torn of the Golden Country, something that's that good, or the free DLC mixed in with paid DLC, I'd be completely down with that. Like a $30 type of thing, to where you can pay for that, you get an expansion, and then throughout the year you get extra content added in for $30. That was the deal that they gave Davis with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I don't know if Intelligent Systems is going to go that far, but maybe they do. Maybe they have a change of heart when it comes to their DLC plans. But usually we get enough content in the base game to where you get hundreds of hours of content with what they've already put in there, and you don't need the DLC per se. So we'll see what happens with that. So what do you guys think about Fire Emblem Three Houses? Are you thinking about jumping into the Fire Emblem franchise for the first time ever, or are you a returning veteran that's coming back? Do you think that the game looks good? What do you feel about this game overall so far? Have you pre-ordered the game yet? I know I got my special edition already unlocked. So what do you guys think about all of this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.